Ready?
Yes.
Okay,
Can
please, Mr.
I
Uca.
share my screen? I think I already put on the screen. Can you see
Okay,
it?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, please, Mr. Uca.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you for the opportunity for us to present our research, which is about potential development of biomass power generation in Bali. And it was prepared by myself and Retno Gumilang Dewi, Iwan Hendrawan, and Sarah Sitorus. All of them are from Center for Research on Energy Policy, ITB. So this is the outline of my presentations. This is also showing the objective of the presentation. First, because we have to show first about what is the needs for Bali for the prepare for energy independence, because especially for the electricity and the current development plan of Bali, especially for the power sector. And then what is the current potential of developing biomass combustion power generations using available resource in Kalimantan and Bali regions. And then the third one, the fourth one is what is the biomass resource and suitable technology which should be introduced to develop a clean, efficient, reliable biomass electricity generations about Kalimantan and Bali region. Now, why we put Bali and Kalimantan in this case? Because there was once a concept, what we call it, the middle or the central corridor connecting between Kalimantan and Nusa Tenggara. Maybe right now it's not so popular anymore, but once there was this kind of idea. So this paper is also to look back, what if this idea is implemented, especially in the area of biomass resources. So this is the first one. I will show you the situation in the power sector in Bali. Currently, the peak load is about 900 megawatt, and they have installed capacity 950 megawatt inside Bali, and also they have interconnection with Jamali grid using energy resource or electricity sources from Java grid, 360 megawatt. But the idea is that Bali want to have a more or less safer situation in the future where they want to have less dependence on the supply from the Jamali grid. So what should they do if they want to reduce the dependence from outside? So one of the possibility is to develop local capacity in Bali. So we look at what is the situation in the past. This is the development of the electricity demand and electricity production in Bali. Yeah, that you can see here about 600 electricity supply, about 6,000 gigawatt hour in 2019. This one is the situation. The last one is the right column is this latest situation, and this one is the demand come from different demand sector, which is from industry, the bottom one, and then the blue one is residential, and then public sector, and the last one is the commercial sector. And this is the projection in the future. This one is in the past, historically, until 2019. This one is the projection in the future. And this one based on demand projection based on RUPTL until 2038. Yeah, that will be from commercial sector, residential, and then public sector. And then the last one, the industry. And the line showing this kilowatt hour per capita. Yeah, this is the kilowatt hour per capita is in the right hand side. Yeah, but in 2038, it's expected around 2,400 kilowatt hour per capita. This is the electricity projections, projection for the production in Bali from 2019 to 2038. Based on the Jamali grid, the bottom one, and then local power plant. Yeah, then the line is about the electricity demand. So the electricity demand is this green line, but the supply will be from Jamali grid and from local power plant, the blue one. Until 2038, that's based on the RUPTL, the Nasional Rencana Umum Pembangkitan Tenaga Listrik, ya, the planning for the national utility. So we are looking at the potential of developing biomass power generation using available resources in Kalimantan. The question will be, what will be renewable energy offers in independent energy sources? And then a specific challenge, that is the fact biomass must be main source in such a renewable energy-based system. So it will become important. Renewable energy is a relatively new option for develop Bali's power plant generation, and hence potential of biomass in Bali is limited. Yeah, that's why they have to look for other sources. In our case, in our scenario, we assume that the biomass will come from South Kalimantan province. And then another question is, why biomass? Because as we can see from the several planning from the Bali governments, they want to have green energy system in Bali, and biomass is considered one option. Actually, not only biomass, but there are some other technology or some other resources that can be developed in Bali. But in our case, we are looking at the biomass only. And the location of this source of the renewable energy, I mean the biomass, we assume that it's located in South Kalimantan, and then will be transported by ship to Bali. This one we already identified what kind of potential biomass resources that can be developed for the purpose. We have Jabon wood, and then Jati Putih, and also Trembesi. There are some options, and we have also analyzed the potential and also the productivity in terms of cubic meter per hectare per year, and also the calorific value of different types of this biomass. And also we also look at the type of plantation that already exists in South Kalimantan and also the area. This is the type of plant that they have. They have acacia, bamboo, jati, and also the area that they have in South Kalimantan. And also we check that this plant Jabon and Jati Putih already exist in South Kalimantan. Currently, the forest area in South Kalimantan has been planted with various species. Jabon and Jati Putih exist in this area. And based on the capacity that we want to develop for Bali, and then we calculate the projection of biomass consumptions and area for biomass cultivation in South Kalimantan. So we are making a projection for the 2030 and 2050. Why 2030? Because we assume that there will be some times needed to develop the biomass resources. That's why we assume that the operation will start in 2030. So we assume that we need at least 10 years to prepare for the resources. Although we call it fast-growing trees, but still we need some time to prepare that. So we assume that it's a realistic assumptions. And also, beside looking for the type of the biomass, we are also looking at the type of the technology for the biomass power plant. So we look at the three types of power plant. One is the stoker, and then fluidized bed, and circulated fluidized bed. And then based on that, we calculate what is the energy needs and also area needed for different type of wood and also different type of technology until 2050. So from our calculations, the area that is available for planting the biomass needed for Bali area and South Kalimantan, if you look at the existing condition and also the requirement of the consumption, I mean, requirement of the biomass supply, and you can see here that we will need at least jabon is the wood that has to be selected, and then the technology should be circulated fluidized bed, because this is the most efficient technology for the combustions. Yeah, that's the we select the type of wood, and also the second one is we select the technology. But we have not decided several items or several issues that has to be considered, such as the needs for the transportation.
Sorry, Mr. Rocha, you have 2 minutes left.
Okay, yeah. So we have to consider about the logistic, how to transport from South Kalimantan to Bali. That means including the ships and including the port for that. And this is the conclusion and remarks from our study. First is biomass power plant in Bali, projected to increase 263 to about 453 megawatt in 2050. The plantations that is developed for Bali need is the types Jabon, Jati Putih, and Trembesi. This plant has the potential to be planted in South Kalimantan. The types and technology that may be suitable for Bali is the fluidized bed technology, because it has higher conversion efficiency, and therefore we need less land for biomass plantations. As of now, the identified land area that may be developed for use by energy cultivation in South Kalimantan is around 75,000 hectares. Meanwhile, the land that demand for the biomass energy cultivation in Bali power plant is large, in the range of 100,000 hectares to 171,000 hectares. So, if Jabon wood is used, then fluidized bed technology is selected, then we have, it will be sufficient for developing the Bali biomass power plant. So the South Kalimantan area also have unused lands and former mines. Land will be sufficient for use to be used for biomass energy for Bali power plant, using Jabon wood and biomass, and using fluidized bed technology. Of course, as I mentioned before, there are still some consideration has to be has to be considered. Some issues to be considered, like logistic and also the cooperation between South Kalimantan and Bali region, economic development, economic cooperations, and other things. That's for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ucok. A very good topic. Because our time is limited, maybe it can represent just one question. Please, if anyone to ask. Any question?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, please, Mr.
Yeah,
Haryadi. Uh,
thank you,
please,
moderator.
just one question.
Okay,
Only one question.
okay,
Okay.
okay. With regard to biomass power plant in Bali, you mentioned that it is project to increase from 263 in 2030 to 453 in 2050. So I think it is big enough, and nearly 80% of the projected 263 megawatt in 2030. But what do you think about because when we talk about biomass, what lies in my mind is just burning, in this case, wood or plantations waste. So what do you think about the potential uh, waste from, let's say, household? Because I think when uh, talk about Bali, Bali is a tourism center, so I think uh, household waste is also increasing each year. So what do you think about this source of biomass power generation? Thank you, Pak Ucap. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, thank you very much for your input or your questions. Because this technology is specified or specific for for a particular biomass and particular conditions. So in our scenario, we don't include the biomass waste from residential, from household. But of course, there are some potential for biomass from residential, and also maybe refuse derived fuel like RDF from the Bali residential and also commercial sector. But that will be utilized using different kind of technology. Maybe the one that is now is under development for at least 12 city by President Jokowi. They are preparing for the power plant from PLTSA, pembangkit listrik tenaga sampah. That's under preparation under the current government. So I think that's maybe suitable for that. But in this our scenario, we are really starting from everything from the plantations, and of course the plantation we not only use the wood, but also the waste from the woods plantation itself. And we have to consider what kind of the shape of the wood, whether it will be pellets or it is wood chips. That's still the next research will be this area. I mean, what kind of more specific technology in terms of the size and the shape of the biomass fuel. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thanks for your participation, Mr. Ucok.